What's up, people? This is Luis, and it's been a long day, but um, but I think I could get this real quick. Uh, Next update in. It's not a preview of the city council meeting. It's just I wanted to give more information on an item that was in the first agenda, the first agenda of the year, and I got stuck in this web of like craziness, and so but I guess I'll talk through that craziness to just show people how even when you try to make things transparent, it just gets murky. So this specifically is a so in the January 13th. So in the January 13th meeting, there was a resolution that was forwarded it to committee, and the resolution was from Mayor Bronin with a company resolution that authorizes and empowers the mayor or his designee to execute and deliver the access agreement and any and all amendments hereto between the city and the Board of Energy Improvement District, allowing access to and use of the site for the purposes of the solar panel project. And it's basically something that will allow this entity, the city's Hartford Energy Improvement District Board, to hire someone to manage or to like do this to basically do all the legal stuff and coordinate the contracts and stuff like that for the landfill in the north end over by Liebert Road. So my first question, so this has been referred to a committee. It's going to be seen by the Public Works, Parks, Recreation, and Environment Committee, and that is chaired by Councilwoman Marilyn Rossetti, and the other councilor on the committee is Nick Lebron, Councilman Nick Lebron. So before we go any further, that in and of itself is somewhat like problematic potentially, because what you have is you have two people to a committee, and if one of those council people is absent for any reason, or if they don't agree, there's no way to break a tie. There's no way to move something forward if there's something timely or something needs to be really. So normally on committees they like to put 3 or more, but definitely enough that you can get something out of committee. In this case, if one of them was absent, you would not even be able to meet, because you need to have a quorum, and a quorum is 50% plus 1. So I looked at that and I went, all right, whatever. But so on February 19th, which is a ways away, 3 weeks, this committee will see 2 items, and one of them is the one I just mentioned. This was introduced on the 13th. It had been referred, so it's going to be seen on the 19th, and they'll speak about it. There will be some people there talking about it, and then it ideally should be discharged from committee at that time. It will come to the following council meeting, and they will vote on whatever the recommendations of the committee are. The process of the committee is to really delve into a resolution, look at the facts, look at the context, and vote on it, ¿verdad? So just pretty simple. But no, I wanted to look at what this Energy Improvement District was. They have a nice website. It's the Hartford Climate Stewardship Initiative. And the website is hartfordclimate.org. And it's out of the Hartford's Office of Sustainability and the Hartford Climate Stewardship Initiative. It is a body that was created like in 2017 by Mayor Bronin, and then it says that it has different partners in it. So I said, okay, then let me see how do people get onto this, right? Because one of the photos they have on that page of who we are, there's a lot of people there, and I see 2 people of color. I see Bernadine Silvers, and I see Sarah Bronin. Other than that, there's one, the pastor. Other than that, everybody's white. And that in and of itself is problematic, so I wanted to see who comprises of the board. And I went online. This entity is listed on the boards and commission page, and I found that, and then more problems, right? So I found the it's an Energy Improvement District Board, section 28-235 to section 28-240. That is the ordinance that creates this board. I need to look it up. I have to admit I have not, so I can look at like more specifics. But in this case, there are 9 voting members, 5 non-voting members. Appointment members, 4-year terms, staggered. Appointed members go for 4-year terms and staggered. Keep in mind when you're appointed, depending on how many are appointed, the state of Connecticut says that you can't have, in a bipartisan type of situation like Hartford or a partisan situation like Hartford, you can't have more than 2/3 be from one party. So in this case, of the 9 voting members, 3 are ex officio members, which are basically, there's the Director of Development Services or someone they choose, they call it, or their designee, the Director of Public Works or their designee, the Superintendent of Public Schools or designee. So anytime that you say this specific position, it doesn't have to be doesn't have to have any affiliation. The other appointed members do. So you have 6, 3 Hartford electors and 3 representatives from Hartford businesses. In this case, we have between them 4 Democrats and 2 non-Democrats, 1 independent, registered independent, and 1 unaffiliated person. But all the terms expire January 9th. And so the terms expire annually or every 4 years, January 9th. And on this piece of paper, which I looked at the front of the thing, it said that it was updated January 19th of last year. And everyone was here, their term has expired. The 6 people who are appointed, Sarah Bronin, Thomas Swore, Kathleen Kowalshin, Michael Lauterwasser, Leo Garrison, and Sebastian M. Lombardi. Mind you, only one of those 6 is of color, Sarah Bronin. One of those 6, Leo Garrison, no longer lives in Hartford. He's now working in New York at the Finger Lakes. And I don't know if Sebastian Lombardi, he should probably still be around. Of the ex officio members, one of them, Council President Gwendolyn Thames, is not there. I'm assuming Mali Rosado, as a council president, will be now an ex officio members of this district board. And at the time of this, there was no city architect. This listed as an ex officio member, and city engineer Frank De La Ripa, along with the mayor. And so I looked at resolutions going back to April or March of 2019, and then it just kept getting late. I was looking for where and when did these, if and when did these get re-upped. So, and I might have missed it, right? One of the yucky things about the way the city used to do their PDFs is now you can do a PDF that you create the PDF and you can search within the PDF. Like if I wanted to look for instances of Luis Cotto, I go to find, I type in Luis, and it'll tell me 4 times Luis has been mentioned here. It's any name Luis, right? In this case, I tried looking for energy and it kept saying nothing, nothing, nothing. I realized that when they scanned this, they did an old scan where they just scanned it and then it's there. So basically, on the agendas, everything is just a scan, as opposed to you have the document and you create a PDF, and that's something a comment I'll give back to the clerk's office, because it's so much easier for anyone who wants to do some research to get a document that you can search, because you're talking about, in some cases, the agendas will go into like hundreds of pages. So you don't want to have to keep whatever for instances of whatever. So that's a comment that I have to give. But I did go back to March. Then I got confused more because in March 25th of 2019, the mayor put in a resolution naming 6 people to a CODI. And then I remembered a CODI. A CODI is like ACOT, the Something Commission on the Environment. The Advocacy Commission on the Environment. But that's always been the body that deals with things environmental. So even though, and it's interesting because the mayor is filling it, there's 15 people on that commission. The mayor is putting people in there, but then has created in 2017 a separate entity to deal with like real nitty gritty stuff. It's almost like, and this is me talking, like it's almost like, oh, you guys can get that, and then it's almost like, with a kid and they want to play PS4. Also, you just give them the controller that's not plugged in, right? Like you can go play over there, but like the real environmental stuff is going to happen here. And the people who are on this and the people who are on a CODI look like all just really solid, in this case, environmental people. It's a thing, right? And so the mayor wants permission. The board must enter into a number of legal instruments to carry out the project, including, but not limited to, a power purchase agreement, a site access agreement, and or an interconnection agreement with its selected vendor. Additionally, given that the city owns the former landfill, the appropriate legal instrument will have to be entered in by and between the city and the board relative to allowing access to and use of this site for the purposes of the project. I mean, they have very specific plans for this, but they don't seem to have a body to do that. Again, mind you, I had not looked at January and February, and I'm expecting to find it there, right? So that was March 25th. I'll look at February 13th. And again, it's up online, so you could check out the agendas, and it's normally under legislative affairs. Like they would refer this to legislative affairs, and I'll do more digging, but I think it's important because this looks like a pretty exciting thing, but it almost seems as if an entity is being created to like divert like regular processes. But this body, if you look at their website, has done some pretty cool things, but they've done it in what has normally been defined as a task force. They almost acted as a task force because they did time-specific actions. They met for over a year, and then at the end of that, they created a couple things. They have like an action plan. They created this EID board, and the Energy Improvement District is a tool of the state to try and have more tax credits or something in specific areas. So the city of Hartford has like 5 or 6 in energy improvement districts, and so different owners who own in that can maybe get better discounts off of energy. I wholly encourage you to check it out. It's again hartfordclimate.org, and it's just, when you're working in government, it can't be that hard. It can't be that hard. You have to make it really, like, the information should just be there. So to have to go from, like, there's almost no mention except for in the commission board. There's relatively little mention of this body. So if you weren't paying attention in 217, or maybe like the couple things that they put out, it's difficult to stay on top. God forbid you move in now and you want to do stuff with energy. How do you find out? I think that's it. And I'm at 14 minutes, so that's cool. I'm going to try in between council meetings and council agendas to delve deeper into some of the things, into some of the items. Not from a bitchy standpoint, but just like again, the hope was to be able to show how this really interesting and exciting looking resolution, like how you can learn more about it. Both like this was what was introduced, the letter. This is the letter to the council, agenda 5 on that day, and like explaining it, and then the resolution in the back in this little page here. So, but one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, and again, the minute I see like in a city that's majority of color, like less of color than melanin challenge, it's problematic to me. But that's it. I'm gonna stay listening to my Osuna what, and talk to you later. Peace.